I thought you were just a chat room, just a bunch of guys like bitching about the pulse chain.
No,
And
so
Oh yeah,
basically,
no, Pulse sucks. Like, sell out. We're off the B&B. Fuck you all.
all right. So
that's what I
just
came for.
TLDR.
But
Basically, what we're realizing and what we're noticing is on chain. A lot of the people in the community are looking for verbal answers from tweets from specific people, but some of the people in this group have taken it upon themselves to actually look on chain for answers. And what they're finding is that a lot of wallets that are prominent with the sacrifice and with large DAOs and organizations that work closely with Ethereum are actually working together and doing strategic plays on the chain to actually move the values of certain copies to their original price that were on ETH. And so, this all started when people noticed that you were still able to mint DAI on the contract. So there was a mysterious $1 million transfer from one wallet that was associated with the Pulse sacrifices and to another wallet that was associated with the MakerDAO team. And after that $1 million transfer went over, the minting magically got disabled on the DAI contract from the Maker contract. I don't know exactly how it worked, but I'm pretty sure it was a function on Maker that allows you to buy it and mint DAI. So they disabled that, and then all of a sudden we've been finding a bunch of crazy values
Son of a beach.
and
I'm almost to
insane
the
stuff
rig,
that's
guys.
been on
Guys,
chain
I do want to say I appreciate
verifiable,
everyone coming and hanging out,
including the
and
7
listening.
wallets
But
that
yeah, the
were
oil
sent
rig,
funds
I'm
from
telling
the
you,
Pulse
it's a struggle.
sacrifices. Those
And I'm
7
literally out in
wallets,
the middle of
every
nowhere, but I'm
single
almost
one of
back to
them
the rig.
deposited 20
It's
million
still
DAI
early,
stables
so bro, I
into
gave
the
you admin
Spark
rights, so make sure you
protocol,
pin your
which
stuff,
works
please.
closely with the MakerDAO. So there's 140 million dollars over there hanging out, and while everyone's complaining about bad trades and bad um, bad calls from certain owners of certain wallets, we're noticing that there's actually deep value plays that are hidden within the hidden, under the true intentions. So, this group is basically just trying to discover as much as we can and try to go as in depth as possible. So we're looking at literally every possibility under the sun. And yeah, this
guys
is
are
this
like
is the core.
detectives.
So welcome aboard, man.
Thank you. So you guys are like detectives. You're figuring out the mysteries of the pulse chain.
You can say that,
Yeah,
but
100%.
we're diving into everything.
So what is the big secret play that we're not supposed to know about?
How autistic do you want to go?
Right? Like, how deep you want to?
Yeah, it depends on how deep you want to go. I would say at the very moment, the very deep play that they don't want us to know, that easier to understand, would be that they're trying to copy values over from Ethereum to Pulse Chain. Now, how they're doing that, it can get pretty schizophrenic. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, they're not copying the values. They're creating deep liquidity pockets between Ethereum, BSC, and over here. So
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Richard's going to tell people that he copied the values because he won't claim responsibility for the actual value propositions that get brought
well, he
over.
put the
But
money.
yeah,
Correct.
he'll be like, "Hey,
What
I copied
are you
your
talking about?
tokens and they're
The
worthless
copied
money, so
value,
you're welcome."
right?
No,
Well, that
he's
was his
creating a meta.
old. That was the original
Yeah,
sales pitch. That's
Yeah,
not a new idea.
yeah. So we yeah, I know. So we believe that he's going to be creating like a meta chain, like a meta privacy EVM chain, with the privacy bridge between all three chains. How the Atropa ecosystem is protecting DAI with utilizing bots, with the way that they scaled it up. So like the number two is the number two holder of DAI, and then there's another contract on top of that doubles that, and that doubles that all the way up to the top. So then it protects DAI in a way so DAI can't be flash loaned. So whenever they decide, or whenever it reaches the peg, or when they're trying to protect it on its way up, they can make sure that DAI can't be flash loaned or hurt against, because the bots would front run the other bots before the flash loan could even take effect. So Atropa is using this mechanic to literally protect DAI. And then on top of that, with MakerDAO literally giving up MakerDAO, they're giving up $1 billion of protocol to Spark Finance, so they can go create their own chain. Their own chain is a fork of the proof of work Ethereum. They'll have their own copies, but it's a proof of work, proof of stake hybrid chain that's going to be minting RAT WP DAI and WP BTC, WP USDC. So it's going to be a chain that's done through consensus that they'll be minting a deterministic value of WP DAI, WP USDC, and then sending that to a certain chain to then be validated. We believe that one chain for DAI would be Pulse because it's protected over here by the Atropa ecosystem, and essentially then they would be the minting press. We would be the reserve currency because with the 22 billion, whenever it hits $1, we have the 22 billion DAI there already, so we wouldn't have to mint anymore for a little while till the next. Because whenever they first launched the 3, and after that they're allowing their version for arbitrage opportunity, the WP DAI itself will be able to fluctuate.
Okay. I think
Yeah,
you're
don't
cutting
mind
out.
Rick. His internet sucks.
Oh no, I just forgot to hit the button. So yeah, it's so the WP DAI will be able to fluctuate in value, so they can front run that and gain more, from.
We lost you again, buddy. I see where you guys are going.
One or two.
If I really could
It's
paint
like
it
you
in the
can
broadest
trade it away.
brushstrokes possible, Maker's going to become the bank of crypto under Pulse. Spark will move on to become the printing press of crypto, being able to mint stability coins to distribute through the network. And then from Pulse, we expand into the wider cryptoverse with at least 3 chain bridging, meta bridging opportunities where single-sided staking would then make sense. We would be the lenders. The rest of the chains would then become the customers.
Okay. And
their own
AJ from
copies.
SparkSwap, he'll attest all this.
SparkSwap, no, I don't. SparkSwap is. I don't think we're still speculating that they're involved. We know that they were involved with SDI really early on.
Why don't we
because
just
they were
ask
putting
AJ
SDI out.
if it's true and see what he says?
I would assume that they're not going to say anything until the Spark DAO either votes them in or the Spark DAO is then created. Because right now the Spark DAO isn't up and running yet, so I don't think they can attest to anything, in my opinion. But EMP, if you look on Spark, it stands for empowering DAI. So I think EMP might have been something different over on BSC, but it seems like they needed a BSC aspect to this whole
We have
thing.
zero confirmation aside from
So I
some
think-
words that match up that SparkSwap is involved at all in what we've described here.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
But
And we're all and most of this is based on P DAI
SparkFi
pegging
has
to $1, right? Like that's the main thesis here is P DAI will become $1.
Yes, I mean that's not the main thesis. I mean, if the bridging and everything like that is taken into effect, then through social consensus alone, I'm sure the centralized exchanges would then sell it for $1 because DAI's $1, and then it should then peg
Okay.
or not.
Let me ask you guys this: Have you ever looked on like the Pulse Chain browsers, any of the ones that work anyway, to see who the holders of P DAI are? See how many people who've never actually even been on Pulse Chain have billions of dollars of P DAI?
Yes. Yep. Yes.
So, how many people do you think could dump the price of P DAI to 0 on any given day?
I don't think that. I just think that if I don't know if it's billions, but it's close. But I still think that those people would understand the value proposition.
You think they're just good people,
Or-
so they won't take the money, or they're not part of the Pulse Chain.
I just
They're
don't
just
think they would
like
Yeah. Yes, they got free copies, and then they come over, and then they find out about it. I mean, We'd have to
Right.
wait and see, or there's another plan. Yeah.
So there's another mystical plan that we don't know about
No,
that
I
will
know. I'm
prevent
saying.
them from going to zero. I'm sorry,
I
guys.
just don't think
It
they
doesn't
would
make
dump.
any sense.
I just don't think they would dump it. I just don't think.
It's a dollar coin, right? So you're not dumping it; you're just redeeming your dollar. So if I had a dollar coin that was based on with, that was maybe less known than others, and I could change it for a more known coin. So if I could trade all my PDI for not PDI, I think I would do that, and I think everybody in this room would do
Cool.
that too. The moment it hits a dollar, because why would you hold it past a dollar? It's a dollar coin. So you're gonna have by default,
Right.
you'll have
Yeah. Exactly.
100%. 100% of people would redeem it for a dollar, but it won't take that. That's not how it works
Not
in
at all,
crypto.
100%. Like, if I haven't heard like any worse speculation, it's that.
You wouldn't trade your dollar coin
100%.
for a dollar. Are you holding it till it hits 1,000, sir?
Well, no, we know that.
Yo,
No,
Rick,
you
check
want
your
to trade.
DM real quick.
It's a
You don't do
dollar,
that.
so you're going to turn it in for a dollar, right?
Yeah,
So
and
when
then
it hits a dollar, and there's guys with billions of dollars sitting like in their wallet on Ethereum,
Why
you don't
do
think they're going to
people
come over
hold
and just
stable coins
dredge
at
that out?
all? Because they're worth $1. So you're saying that like once it hits
You- you
$1, it's just gonna dump because it's $1?
Oh yeah, 100%.
That doesn't make any sense either.
Doesn't make
We're
sense either.
assuming
I
that
think
the bears
it'll
need the
dump
money.
long before that, actually, like way before. But if it
Exactly.
did
So
hit a
your
dollar, it
point
would
is
have a
fucking
100% dump
moot.
ratio.
Okay, I'm out. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to get involved in this. I
Do you
gotta
want me
go
to
to
use
bed.
smaller words?
Anyone that has millions of PDI in their wallet, they're not
Funny.
necessarily needing the money. So the logic that they're just going to dump when it reaches a dollar is kind of silly.
You think so?
Yeah, they don't know they have it.
Why
They're
else
not
should they be
thinking about
holding
it.
it?
When they find out they have it, they're going to take
Why
it.
would they dump it? They're already holding DAI. They're just going to be like, cool, my money doubled. Like, they're already holding stables.
Because
why
it's
they're not
super
doing it.
sketchy, Richard Hart
I'm sure it's
scam chain
Maker.
pulse
I'm
copies.
sure it's Maker. It's Aave. It's Compound. Some of those are probably the main holders of the DAI. So it actually benefits them all. So, do
By
you
the
know which
way,
ones they are or who they are?
to play devil's advocate, I'm just gonna say it. They are going to. So what's gonna happen when they do is it's obviously gonna go below $1 for a slight bit of time. Who knows how long? Right now, when there's a certain sales, it goes down for a certain time, but that's because it arbitrages to other pools. Soon, it will be a design to keep it at peg. Right now, it's not designed to keep it at
And
peg. It's designed to go
what
as
design
close
is
to
that?
$1 as possible.
Atropa.
How is it going to stay at a peg?
The Atropa
So
ecosystem.
there's around 139,
I've
140
seen the
different
graphs, guys. It doesn't work. Like you can
So
have
then why
over
are you
collateralized
asking?
stablecoins. I'm honestly, I
Well,
find
if
it
you believe
interesting that
everyone's
everybody
gonna
becomes so
dump it at
engaged in this.
$1, how do you believe it's gonna get to $1?
Well, I don't believe it's going to get anywhere close to $1.
Right. So your point is you're just trying to stir up shit.
Like I respect the debate. Like it's cool to debate, but like
Yeah, I'm debating it, man.
kind of asking rhetorical questions, which kind of doesn't make sense for
No,
from a
it's
debate
only rhetorical
perspective.
because I already know the answer. I don't think you guys do, and that's why I
Well,
think the
why
question's
don't you
irrelevant.
like approach it like, hey, can I share my opinion on what might happen? We'd like to know. Like, why don't you share it? Let's hear it.
Sure. Yeah, and I don't like. I see value in this ecosystem, like the Atropa thing, the PDI thing. I'm not involved. I don't know all the players, so but I have a overview of what it is. And there's value. It's a meme value, though, right? Like like it's going to go to $1. It's exciting. You guys, there's all these charts and graphs that almost nobody can understand, and probably nobody's supposed to understand, which is kind of cool. They're fun to look at.
Here's the thing. Yeah. Okay. Go on. Sorry. Go on.
Okay. So you have like everybody's pushing towards this narrative. It's exciting. The idea that you can look into your wallet, you see you have like whatever 4 million PDI, and one day you're going to have $4 million, right? That's the feeling that it brings, which is a great sales tool. But like the universe is not going to allow, 400,000 degens on the Pulse chain to all become billionaires. That's not how it works. And things aren't set up to work that way. And even not like if you assume that all this sort of conspiracy theory stuff was true, that like somebody had the keys to MakerDAO, and that there was these forces that were going to pull the correct levers at the correct time to make it happen, even if those things were true, the sheer fact that there's like if you look through the list of holders, you look through the protocols that hold it, things like Curve Finance, like you don't think Curve Finance is going to like dump that down to zero when it hits 70 cents? Like they for sure are. They don't care about the pulse chain. Like it's like, oh, we have $20 million
Yeah,
on here.
he also some of the curve stuff is actually held by. Never mind, anyways. You're good.
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep going.
But so like, but it's not just people, it's protocols. But there's also enough people, right? Like individuals who control wallets that have millions or billions of DAI, that if they become worth that much money, there'll be things that pop up like, you know, like, okay, I can make a protocol that was like 2-button click, you know, click this, pay 5%, cash your PDAI in at 70 cents, and we'll deliver it to you on Ethereum in real DAI, right? Which is what they'll see. They'll be like, oh, I have the copied DAI, and you're going to give me 70 cents on the dollar and give me real DAI. Okay, deal. Everyone will press the button, right? Unless they're like a pulse chain fanatic who's really involved in the community, then maybe they won't because they're waiting for a dollar. But the number of people not on the pulse chain who would believe that it could ever be a dollar will be very low, and it'll be very hard to convince them, especially the people who
Then
hold
why are
$1
you
billion
even
to
on this
DAI.
chain? Why are you even on this chain? Just spell
Not
everything
for
and get off then.
I'm not here for copy DAI. I'm here to build. I'm building a fork of Convex on the Pulse chain, so that's
Yeah,
a
so
completely
people
different thing.
don't believe in Pulse Chain, and they're just
No,
gonna like say,
people
"Oh,
don't believe in copy
why
dollar
wouldn't
coins
they
on the Pulse chain.
hold something that got that far? Why wouldn't they just
Hey,
hold it?"
They might if they believed it would get to a dollar.
let's hear the man out. Let's hear the man out, and then we will start trying
hear
to
him out, 'cause I'm
explain
actually hearing some
what
logical
we
stuff.
have seen.
Well,
Because yes,
here
at
I have a
face
question
value,
for
there is
you.
quite a bit of logic behind it. There's a
Abdul,
lot of
have you heard of
reasoning, and we need to unpack it.
Hold on, secret. Abdul, have you heard of the double back stable?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. Have you heard of Circle 2?
Nope.
Okay. There's parts of this ecosystem that you'd have to do quite a bit of research into to see how it would support its movements after large sales, because there will be large sales. Of course there will be. We're not going to deny it. There will be people that see large amounts and decide to sell it. That's how it is. What I think is going to actually stop the prices from fluctuating as far are the farms that may be reintroduced potentially. So if there are, instances of PDAI, EDAI farms that get introduced to the system to farm ink, then that would be something that would stabilize the values on the dexes,
And
for
where
example.
does the
That's just
money
one.
to pay out the ink come from? Who's paying that money?
What'd you say?
And the farms, like they're putting up an incentive token, which it could be the incentive token that we know about, or some other token. Who's putting up the money for that token? Because you're right, like that could, if you had a crazy, like for a farm that was paying 5,000% in whatever token,
So
that
who
could
puts up
stabilize it.
the
But
ink
that's got
for
to come
the
from somewhere.
PulseX
There's no
farms?
magic money. Right, those exist, but that's Richard Hart's money. So you're saying Richard Hart's going to keep putting up money to stabilize PDAI? Is that
No,
he's
we
going to do
can't
it out of his
really
pocket?
go off, expectations of what Richard's going to do, but there's potential that it could happen in the future. So that would be an example of something that could create stability between the two
Right,
assets.
but there's no magic money, right? Like there's no way to create something from nothing. So there's like, unless you have an outside force continuously bringing money in the form of like either new people coming to buy it, right? Or like dexes kind of create money when they charge fees, but when you start talking about farming and there's an incentive token, well, somebody has to create a liquidity pool. Like it costs money, proportionate money, right? And it's usually an entropic system that degrades fairly quickly, unless it has a lot of supports with something like Balancer or Curve. But like, I don't know, this whole thing is kind of based on that billions of dollars will appear from almost nowhere to collateralize this token. Like I know how stablecoins work. The best ones being things like liquidity
he
forks.
has a copy
Yeah,
too.
but you're comparing
He has
the previous mechanics of stable coins to something that's totally new. So we're not actually backing it. Like if you try to find the treasuries for this to back the DAI stable coin, you'll realize that the only thing you have are just ratios of liquidity.
Well, that'll never work.
How do you know?
because the price will just get sold down to nothing from the guys with billions of dollars. We'll just come take it, and there's nothing to push it back up. So there's nothing that actually holds the peg. If you just think linked liquidity is going to hold something up in price, like it won't. Not when you're talking about billions of dollars.
Isn't a tropper's job to buy when you sell?
There's different
Like
stuff that these
the
contracts do, to be
arbitrage
honest.
robots. They
Or you're gonna
arbitrage
have
robots.
who's going to buy when I sell?
Atropa has many contracts that are helping move PDI up in various ways.
What
So
what
like
is the basis of value?
There's around
Like
140
if you're going to
smart contracts,
exchange
by
with
the way.
somebody, what is the
200
basis of value?
There's 200?
Yeah, 201 at the moment.
Bro, what the fuck? Do you know how many pools that is?
200
201
liquidity
times
pools.
201. You can have
200 contracts
44.
that are part of
Look,
Atropa.
yeah,
They're
so
all
there's
surrounded
around a
around PDI.
potential. You can have 40,000 40,000 pools.
Yeah, but
Essentially.
if there, you can have a million bots and it doesn't matter. None of them are generating money in themselves. You can have a bot that buys and sells, right? And it's like it's not making money. It's like there's a fee that's going somewhere, but it's like it's always
Oh yeah,
just from the
bots make
transaction.
money.
Bots definitely
Bots
make money. They're
definitely
designed
make
to
money.
execute
What
the
do you
trade
think
unless
they're
they're
there
making,
for?
you know, they'll only
I
execute
get
the
it, but
trade
it's
if they're
coming
making money.
from the money comes from somewhere, right? It's
It's
going
Yeah,
to
even
come
if it
from
comes from each other, they'll trade off each other. I've seen
sure,
It
arbitrage.
comes from
but
social
that's entropy.
consensus. It comes from what people will pay for something. Do you understand what value really is?
I think I have a
Value
pretty
is
solid
based on
understanding.
what people will pay for something.
No, I
You
think he
can
does
pay
I don't know.
double,
People have a different
or you can.
understanding of value. So, it's understandable that you don't,
I,
have an
I think
understanding of
in
how
the
this.
case of a stable coin that's based on a dollar, I think we all have the same understanding that it should be worth $1.
No, see, that's the thing. That that's what I was talking about. The fluctuation that'll be from 75 to 25 cents is going to be utilized as well.
75 to 125.
Social
125, yeah.
consensus decides what a dollar is, what value really is. It matters what the market is based on what people feel. Not, granted there's whales that have a lot more money and they have a lot more potential to move markets and change the relative value of things, but
Yeah, and
ultimately
those
the
whales are going
market
to take all your
decides.
money if you get this thing up to 75 cents.
Well,
That's like
what if,
They're going to
what
take
if
a
the
lot of
opposite
money
is true? What
before
if the
that
whales take
too.
all of the
We know
positions of
that.
people that were, mistaking this for, something that should not be, utilized within the space?
this this is all
You got to
fine,
think
guys.
about it. We're
It's
not the
good.
ones that created this whole theory and analogy where, arbitrage bots would slowly start buying up the values of the copies, and there might be a day where some of the assets might reach parity. We didn't create that, Rich
And
was
on
the
a
one who
meme
said that on
coin,
live
that's
streams.
totally possible. On a meme coin, you can reach parity, right? Because there's no like, there's my picture of a dog versus your picture of a dog can be worth the same amount of money. But like on a
But
stable
when we're
coin
talking
that's
about a
supposed to be
peg, it's
backed,
not just
Memes,
gonna peg in a
we
day.
are
memes,
It's
talking
gonna
about a
need
peg,
a
but you don't have a
long,
peg for
long,
your
long
coin.
time to be able to peg.
What you're saying, it's pegged by social consensus, and that's like just not a thing.
Well, here's the thing. Even if it's not pegged by social consensus, because that is another theory on the side. It won't take a day or two to peg. It's gonna take a couple of years. So it's not just a 1 day process. It's gonna take a long time. There's gonna be crazy fluctuations. There's gonna be crazy exits, major entrances. So it's just a part of the
I think
ecosystem. We're just gonna have
there's
to sit
money to be
around and see
made
how
here,
it works.
guys. There's money to be made. Like I'm not denying that, but like if you guys are still holding like 50% of your bags in PDI at the end of the bull market,
Oh,
it's not going to be a good ride.
no, you're definitely got to rotate. This is 100% because the other
Yeah,
one's
no,
going to
I
take
mean,
once it runs.
rotation is
what
required for sure.
about
Are
the
you holding any
concepts we
PDI?
were talking about? What about the concepts we were talking about the other day, Rick? When now that we're seeing all that bot activity across BSC and Ethereum, buying up and rearranging liquidity pool allocations on both those external chains, holding not only the stables but all the other blue chip coins as well, with the concept that we might end up with oracles in a three-way point asserting the value of each of them as one item.
Right. That could be it. That would make sense. I mean, because you have Spark, DAO that's with all their bridging techniques with the oracles that are all pointing towards that, saying that they're building that to make sure that whenever they're distributing, the DAI distribution is all kept, throughout. I have to read some more about their bridging, uh, and then figure out a little bit more about it. But
Guys,
it's all
we can
it's all
just ask AJ to come in here and talk to us. He'll tell us if he's doing it or
no. So
not.
I'm not. But Spark Swap is not the same as Spark DAO or
Oh,
the Spark Phi team. That's two different people.
my bad. Okay.
I just know one. There's Spark. It's like a different logo and everything. Spark Swap and the Spark Finance. Now they might be somewhat related through it. Maybe they can get voted in through a DAO, something like that. But all I know is that as far as they're concerned, they just had the same name. So there was just like an interesting proposition because of how quick their bridge worked, and it seemed like it was really fucking really intricate, really awesome, and then EMP and then the website. So I know they're upgrading their stuff. So
I think you guys are sincere, and that's cool.
Some really neat stuff.
I mean, everything that we sort of continue to pull apart and examine, it's all subject to change depending on what we find next. I think we've revised this situation at least 17 times this month and adjusted things as we see new information come through. I mean, we're not closed-minded to the fact that this could all fail. It's just that we see a lot of different moving pieces. Not all of them are directly connected yet. We do have ties between MakerDAO's paperwork, SparkDAO's paperwork. We've seen action from Wintersmith regarding the sacrifices and such. We don't have all the puzzle pieces yet, but we think there is a lot more here than what meets that eye. And I think we may be in for a surprise when it comes to DAI being the stability asset that we think it should be.
I know
Certainly seems
MakerDAO
like
said.
fun anyway.
I know MakerDAO said the same thing. They said that they're going to be for the first 3 years before they do their fluctuation. They're leaving it pegged to it.
One of the interesting things that will happen, though, is if social consensus gets us to the dollar mark, what will happen? Because in Maker's endgame notes, it does talk about social consensus will determine what the real DAI actually is.
Yeah, social consensus and all those rich guys with billions of dollars, and they hold more than their share of the social consensus too. How about this, guys?
Yeah,
I got a plan for you.
and probably some of the big ones that held billions of the DAI that you're talking about.
Here, I'm gonna take care of this for you guys. Okay, I know how we can do it. Okay, this is what we need to do. Okay, so I'm gonna make a fork of liquid loans. You know liquid loans? You guys know that one? Liquid loans.
Yeah.
Okay, or liquidity, or well, there's a couple others that could work, but we'll take a fork of liquidity. Okay, and then we're gonna use PDAI for collateral. So put in PDAI over collateralized, and then you get $1 that you can call the real DAI. And then you have your PDAI is now worth $1. It'll probably be like 10 million PDAI is worth $1 or whatever the going ratio is. But yeah, then it could work.
Well,
Your PDAI could be attached to $1.
Come on
So
now.
maybe maybe yeah. Oh,
How far away do
maybe
you
there's
think
a
we are
stable
from
coin.
$1?
Yeah, infinitely away. But I don't actually know how much it costs. I haven't looked lately.
It's less
It's
than
a good.
100.
It's gone up a lot.
It's almost a penny. Almost a penny.
Yeah, we're very
So
There you
close
go.
to a
let's-
penny.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, great for arbitrage. I use it for arbitrage for other things.
You didn't even know it was worth.
And you make money, right?
On the arbitrage, yeah.
Yeah. So imagine hundreds of
Awesome.
bots automated to do that.
No, but it's the money isn't coming from nowhere, right? So the bots they can't feed off each other, or you have a zero sum game, right? So you can't have
They
a
don't
bot that
always feed off
arbitrages
each
another
other,
bot.
but they're allowed to. It's
No, but
PvP.
anytime they do, it's a zero sum. So they have to be taking it from somewhere else. And when they take it from somewhere else, they'll deplete that resource, right? And right now, I arbitrage pools that nobody knows about on like Uniswap V2 copies and stuff like that, because because I know how to, right? No, you could teach the bot to do that, and they'll do it for less money. Like I'm not going to do it for less than $5. I won't press a button for 10 cents. The bot will. So the bot will do it continuously until whatever that resource is gone. And then there's nothing new coming in. So then the bot dries up, is done. So, and then the only new thing coming in is new people buying the token, which is fine as long as you can keep new people coming. This moment new people stop buying the token, which is the case right now with PDI for sure, then you'll have sellers and not buyers, and then the price goes down. So, in order to actually peg it, you have to peg it to something. And the only way you could possibly peg it to something would be have it be the PDI itself, be the collateral for something that actually was worth $1, because
that might be
instant liquidation.
Yeah, might not actually be a bad idea.
Exactly. Like launching, launching something like
Yeah.
liquidity, and then actually using that as the collateral, and then 100%.
Yeah, honestly, stick around because honestly, it's been too bullish, and everyone's been like, we're going to the moon forever and shit. So we need people that are kind of on the other side and on the fence with this.
100%.
Yeah,
That's right.
so yeah,
Well,
stick
thank
around.
you.
This is actually a good
Thanks
place to
for
be.
entertaining the other side of the story at the very least. I don't want to dissuade you guys
No,
from your game because I think
100%.
there's money to be made. I don't want any of you guys holding past like, I don't know, December of this year. Because it's not gonna end well. But like there's other things you could do. And like what we just discussed is
Distribute
possible.
it out.
I don't know. It's really
Right.
it's probably a terrible plan, but it is possible.
I talked about this about a week ago on one of the voice chats. I was saying to the guys, once this pumps right up, once everyone takes profit, I said that I was skeptical that the likes of MakerDAO, Richard Hart are just going to be willing to hand out tens of billions of dollars to everybody. They're just not going to do that. So, I already raised the fact that money has to come from somewhere. I mean, we have approximately 13,000 users of Pulse Chain a day. Definitely not a very high traffic blockchain. And, we need this thing up and running properly with with Oracle, and some other bits and pieces, and to bring more people across to see this as a valid thing. And Richard's got to get rid of his being a complete fuckwit reputation, which is driving away a lot of people from Pulse Chain because they hate the dude. So, and until fresh capital comes into Pulse Chain, the bro here has got a point. Money just doesn't get created out of thin air with arbitrage. The money, basically, whenever money transfers from one place to another, someone is losing money or someone is paying a fee. We need more people on board here, more businesses building to get this to actually happen.
Yeah, and stuff like PDI is a benefit in just like the whole PDI Atropa thing, because it is pushing the price up, which means that people from Ethereum now have a larger value incentive to come here. Now, of course, they're coming here and dumping on your guys' heads. They may choose to stick around, though. They're probably not for PDI, but they're going to stick around for something. So yeah, if some guy's got $10,000 because you guys pumped up PDI, he comes over and and starts buying whatever DeFi products that he likes on the Pulse chain, maybe he'll stay. And that was the original intent with the copies theme, right? That didn't work, honestly. Like it failed as an advertising thing, but it was a pretty cool idea, and I had a lot of fun with it. I still have fun with it.
Yep.
But
There should have been more focus.
Ways.
I think there was almost no messaging or marketing at all that I saw from Richard and Pulse Chain, people to the greater community saying, hey, your project that you've built, which is running on ETH, is also running on Pulse Chain. Just fucking chuck that on your list of stuff that you do. I don't know of many projects, if any, that have just adopted Pulse Chain as one of their options and gone, yep, we also do Pulse Chain, which is a wasted opportunity, because I thought that was part of the point of copying ETH, was to be an attractive prospect for making it cheaper to run these businesses on another blockchain.
Yeah, I think the way the AMM bots worked when it like basically went out and bought up all the tokens, it kind of ripped those guys off. So in like for something like a meme coin, it maybe kind of worked, but like let's say you're running like some sort of DeFi protocol with moving parts that requires management, and your liquidity pools got copied, right? Like you had whatever 100 ETH paired with 100,000 of your tokens. And then Richard comes in, runs his bot, copies your stuff, and then replaces your ETH with Pulse, right, at $1 million per, and then is capable of like dumping that entire pool and pulling it to PulseX under his control. Like those copied pools on PulseX aren't under control of the original owner, right? Like, so it's
And he also changed the values because now that they seem to be equal. Yeah.
So like it just wasn't that good.
He only inflated the stable coins and he only inflated ETH. It doesn't seem like he inflated Link and all the other copies. They're not inflated. But for whatever reason, he inflated the stables and he inflated. Well, of course, he inflated Ethereum. But it was mainly why only the stable? Why weren't those inflated? Why just the stables and ETH? I know ETH, I know why, but why the stables then if it could be such a detriment?
Stables weren't inflated in particular. They just had really big liquidity pools that got copied.
Right? No, like they're there was the 22 billion that he had, like it was like all the stables were like inflated to a certain amount, and then the other copies weren't inflated. Yeah.
Me and the rest of the guys were dumping those like we're dumping everything else. And there's lots of arbitrage that went on with those copied stables because there's a lot of things to be like whatever the copied Link token, which held some value, other things. You could arbitrage that off a Uniswap fork using copied USDC and make money on dumping it on PulseX, right? And there's still that goes on every day.
Oh yeah, I mean it's done ever since the bottom. It's done like another 20,000 eggs. So to where we're at almost to a penny now. So
Abdul, I got some questions for you, man.
Shoot.
Okay, so Richard Hart's extremely fucking rich, right?
Yeah, billions.
Yep, he's got all the supercars. He's had all the women. He's done all the things that a rich guy wants to do. Do you think he's trying to get richer, or do you think that he is a very competitive bloke now trying to knock Vitalik off his throne and take over as if not the number one, or one of the higher performing, higher economic throughput blockchains in the space? Would you say that's probably a fair assessment?
Yeah, he wants to declare victory and then build a penis-themed museum featuring himself.
Yeah, he's that kind of guy. Now, if in doing so, his project is Pulse Chain to do that, then wouldn't you think that he'd have plenty of cards left up his sleeve and a lot of stuff that he has not played out yet to push this thing further?
Oh, sure. I'm bullish on the Pulse Chain as a whole. Like he has, is he an absentee founder at the moment? Yeah. But like even this SEC thing, I don't know if you guys are keeping up on that, but like if he wins that court case, like stuff's going to go up. Like, is he going to buy more Pulse Chain? Yes, he's totally going to like buy up the price of his tokens, like Pulse, PulseX, Hex on the Pulse Chain. And that's going to drive everything else up because the liquidity is pretty much bonded to all those things in one way or another. All that kind of stuff, right? So, will he come through in the end? I suspect so. Part of his game that I don't like at all is he shakes out the weak hands by letting the thing pretty much fall apart. And then, when you have less people holding and they're stronger holders, then when you put money in, then they don't dump it, which is what we've seen in the past couple months where he's like, you can tell it's the sacrifice wallet has gone in and inserted, millions of dollars, not a big amount to him, but to us.
Value, and then use that to help back.
But it gets dumped immediately, right? So he's come on, he's bought Ink token and he buys PulseX and he buys Pulse or maybe Hex. but then it gets dumped by the community. Like they're like, oh, the price went up by 30% because Richard is buying. We all have alerts set, like all the pro guys. We're like, oh, the sack wallet just moved 400 grand. Okay, where's it going? It's going to Hex this time, guys. Okay, get ready. Right, buy Hex before he comes on, and then dump it as soon as he pumps the price by 30%. And until that stops happening, he won't move real money being billions onto the chain. It's got to be a point where people are like, oh, the price just went up by 20% and it only dumps by 5% because people are optimistic. When people are still just trying to get out, he's not going to dump billions, like the whole sack wallet on the chain, because we'd all just cash out. Right.
Right. And just to confirm, you're not Eric Wall on a like mysterious alt account, right?
No, not at all. Yeah. You can, I have multiple video appearances. I'm way tougher than Eric Wall. I could totally kick his ass. He's a pretty smart guy though.
Nice.
I'm in a couple private rooms with him.
Cool, man. Yeah, man. Definitely have to keep chatting with you, bro.
Cool. But yeah, you guys keep fighting the good fight, eh? It was thanks for the chat. It was interesting. And I think there's ways to do what you want to do, just not the ways you're doing it right now.
Appreciate you stopping by.
Oh yeah,
come by anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do. Okay. Take care. But good night.